Okay, guys, so we're back with another Zox Talks. And what we're going to be getting into today, I think, is by far one of the most important updates that we're going to be seeing from Chaos Zero Nightmare so far. And I feel like a lot of this is actually the step in the right direction for CZN to creating their own identity and really starting to restructure their game. And I really want to talk about that a little bit more. But first, we got to actually get into what's coming. Now, in this notice, they go to say that this is 1 month, right? 1 month since official launch, and they want to express their gratitude to us and those who have played the game and provided feedback. Now, they also go to say that they can confirm that the improvements that are coming are based on our feedback and that these will be applied in the next update. Now, they also say that they want to make sure that concerns, thoughts, and future improvements will be shared with us before updates, which is really important because this means that if there are things that are potentially coming into the game, we can also voice that we may not like something, right? Before it's even in the game. And that gives them a fair chance to also potentially not add it if they have to. Very, very important part. Now, they come out swinging. Not gonna lie. One of the very first things that they talk about here is currency requirement improvements. This is the one thing I was actually talking about in yesterday's video with my 30-day check-in because, yeah, it's a lot, right? But they go to say, improving the currency requirements, one of the issues that has caused the greatest inconvenience for protos. Based on your feedback in our in-game data, we can confirm that the amount of unit currency required for agent growth has been excessively burdensome. Now, by adjusting the most fundamental growth element, agent level up, we plan to improve the overall experience and help you build your early decks to enjoy the game without long-term roadblocks. With this update, the required unit consumptions for agents will be reduced by 80% from its current amount, greatly improving the overall leveling of difficulty for agents. So for you to go from level 60 combatants, previous unit consumption was 1,080,000. Now in total, it was 1.1 million because you had to include the actual uncapping, right? This is being reduced to 216,000. That is a crazy difference, right? Now, also for the level up for partners were about like 600 something thousand, something like that, or at least close to. And that's also including the uncapping. But it says this is going from 519,000 for the leveling, and then this is now being dropped to 103K. Okay, that's huge. Now, number one, okay, the most important thing with all of this is that. And why I just say that this off rip is a huge, huge shift for the game, because I think we can all agree that what has happened with the game so far and what we could see is embedded in a lot of the game is what we call the Hoyo identity or Hoyo structure, right? I think that there was a lot of references made to Hoyo games, and that was kind of the thing that we were experiencing, right? Because I think if you guys have played any of the Hoyo games, you can definitely attest to the fact that that was the problem that you were running into. You get to the point where, okay, I got to raise this unit up, but now for these last 10 levels, everything is like times 100 in cost, right? So I think that that is definitely a great, great thing to step away from, because here's why. I think it is really important. Yes, you want to have in your game the things that fundamentally make your genre of game work, right? But you don't want to be so copy pasta that your game is literally another game. And I think that that's the thing in the luxury that I would say CZN has, is that they have the extra up where I feel like because their level of communication and transparency has been so high, more people are willing to give them a chance. And also the type of games with the replayability of it, more people are willing to give them a chance. Had this been any other game, I don't know if this presentation of Hoyo-esque structure would have been as well received, or, I mean, granted, it obviously wasn't well received, right? Because here it is changing, but I'm just glad to see them making this adjustment, because I think that that as a whole needs to be the overhaul construct and concept and thought process with where the game is going, right? They gotta jump, and I think a lot of companies need to jump out of and jump off of that bandwagon and off that ship of, hey, Hoyo's game, Genshin, for example, is one of the bigger games in the market. Let's copy their formula. not every formula works, right? We can see that, especially now with a lot of games not even coming out with gotchas anymore, right? So, very, very important tidbit. This is why I said I feel like this is super important. But the most important part to this, guys, is that all units already consumed for agents leveling will be fully refunded via in-game mail after after December 3rd Wednesday update. If the schedule changes, we will inform you through a separate notice. Now, what they're also going to be adding to the trade is also going to be, is going to be, or what they're adding is going to be the Blackhorn trade, where you can obtain more agency growth currency. So it's not even a shop that exists yet. This is a brand new shop that's going to be coming into the game, which I actually think is pretty huge, right? Now, how we obtain that currency, I'm assuming there's either going to be a mode or it's just going to be something that drops also in the zero system. We'll have to kind of see. But it says protos who wish to train more agents can now clear chaos clearing chaos to acquire the Crystal of Discord, which can be exchanged at the Blackhorn trade for additional growth currency. Now, the other thing too is that they also have gone to said the amount of Crystal of Discord earned is not heavily affected by difficulty level. So it just means, I guess they're trying to say that everybody is going to have basically a fair chance to get this currency for time put in versus like difficulty that they're doing, because the time is still relatively similar, right? It says we're also reviewing other ways to let you experience and train a wider variety of combatants, such as a feature that temporarily raises a selected combatant's growth level to match the captain's level. We are reviewing various ways to help you train and experience a wider variety or wider range of agents, and we will share the details once they are finalized. And I think another thing that kind of goes into that and why that function is so important is because technically, like, I know what a lot of people are doing, like for the currency, for like leveling and stuff like that, they would like level the character to 20. Even then, it's like the currency is, like I said, you use units for so much, you don't even want to do that necessarily, just because again, it's no real return. Like, okay, yes, you're leveling these units, but then you may never actually use them. They may be benched. You may never touch them, right? So I think that finding ways for players to be able to get that experience, or like I said, with reduced costs now, is going to make it much easier for you to achieve those goals and not feeling like you have wasted mats or materials sitting there because it costs so much, right? Now, the Chaos gameplay experience improvements are also coming as well. So improving the roguelike experience is an ongoing long-term task for the project, which I think is true. It says we are discussing a variety of potential enhancements, and our goal is to implement improvements as soon as they become feasible. Because of this, the updates may feel gradual at times. However, we continue to apply necessary adjustments quickly to enhance the Chaos gameplay experience. First, to support smoother Chaos play, what they're going to have here is the Reaper feature is added to the existing options when the Divine Delegate event occurs. Now, the Reaper feature fixes monsters' HP for for their HP to be at 1 for the next 3 normal battles instead of 2. That just makes more sense to me. So that's cool. It says this will provide an option that allows you to skip the early stages more quickly, reducing time spent on the deck building gameplay. After we revealed the scoring rules for save data, many protos shared that while challenging various different deck builds, they had to calculate their deck build scores manually or rely on external tools, which have become inconvenient. To resolve this, the agent info screen will now display your current save data's faint memory points in real time, allowing you to focus fully on the game without any inconvenience. I mean, like, what are we going to say about that? Like, that actually is a huge thing. People complained about it after the change and they already were cooking up. Like, I feel like they heard the complaint and they started cooking it because it's already basically visibly there. They have a screenshot to show us it. So they went and developed it already, which is kind of sick. Now, in addition, we would like to share details on another improvement currently in development, which is reducing skill animation time. Ooh, okay. So although overall attack animations in Chaos Zero Nightmare are fast, many players express that skill animations still feel comparatively long. That's one of those extra complaints. I mean, like, in reality, those animations are like really fast. We are preparing improvements such as reducing post skill delay and allowing animation skips when using other functions during skill activation. These features require additional development time, so they would not be implemented immediately. However, our goal is to shorten skill innovation time to a level that players can clearly feel and appreciate. Now, I will say this, right? That's only going to be really good simply just because there are some people that just want to farm, right? Like they want to try to be as efficient as possible. So I think it is important in the current climate of gacha and mobile gaming. You have to be considerate of people's time. And that's just one thing that I think kind of comes with the territory now. I think like in a lot of ways, players do kind of house a lot more power in some aspects than they should when it comes to what gotchas may need to do to be able to survive. But I also think, like I said, I'm seeing a lot of healthy things happen with CZN that I think we can all say we appreciate because we're not necessarily getting these types of treatments from other gotchas. And this could very well teach other gacha companies, if they want to continue to release gacha, how they have to actually approach and treat us as a community and as players if they want to see this type of structure continue to exist. Now, of course, with that, QOL improvements. This update will include improved UI to clearly display the current turn count in basin of hyperspace, nebula distortion, and similar content. Yeah, because like before, like you have to kind of like pay attention to your left side when like stuff is activating and popping up, and sometimes you just kind of miss it. So with that, they say additionally, the 1-by-1 swap system has caused significant inconvenience when forming two-party teams in content like basin or hyperspace. To address this, we'll be adding a quick formation option that allows agents to be replaced all at once, greatly streamlining the process. And that's always the most important thing, streamlining everything, just again, making things more simplified so time consumed or time put into something is a lot less, right? And so we're also reviewing features to make story progression more convenient, and we'll share more details when they are finalized. Now, animation improvements. So during chaos, when entering the mental breakdown state, screen effects will now become more intense, and unidentified area text will include additional horror text. Special effects for using breakdown cards will also or have also been improved. Now, I think the main reason why this is happening is because they're redoing a lot of the story currently, and I think that these effects are also going to be playing a part into the overall experience of that. So I think that this is definitely, again, kind of pushing back in the direction of them, what they were initially pushing with this game, which is it being more of a horror game, which I think that they didn't really necessarily deliver for some people on. So, you know, that is kind of, I feel like, the main thing with that. But it says we'll continue strengthening the presentation so you can further immerse yourself in the darker atmosphere of the game. We also want to explain our internal review regarding Yuki. This updates pickup agent. Many protos expressed that Yuki's performance did not meet expectations. Our development team has reviewed this matter carefully. Internal data shows that Yuki already performs well in battles against 2 or more enemies, so simply increasing her numerical values was deemed to carry a high risk for overbalancing the agent. Point in case I was making before, like a lot of times you do have to be very careful with buffing, especially when like what we were experiencing in the very beginning was a lot of people just did not test her enough. And then when we found people coming up with those builds where they were actually getting the forbidden cards, they were actually getting the right synergies or getting the proper, you know, getting the actual gear and all that stuff and having her leveled and having her potentials, which to what this notice is bringing was very expensive to do. So it's understandable that a lot of people just weren't able to get there right away. But I will say that that definitely was a really, really important factor. And guys, to all my CCs, please do your due diligence to not just put out information to get a video out, really be more conscious of what this community needs as far as how vast and how many different potential builds we have, so that content, so that the people watching actually genuinely know that these units are actually usable and not just dog tier trash. Because I think that's really the issue that we had come up with Yuki, was that she's just dog tier trash, which was not true. I'm clearing so much stuff where people are doing the difficulty stack 9 of the nebula with her. Like it just took a little bit more thought process, I would say. But it also, like I said, wasn't negating that she may need some like buffing, but it was also not saying she was just this bad character, right? So, with that, therefore, instead of applying immediate buffs, we're analyzing Yuki's gameplay data and considering improvements that replace her least adopted Epiphany buildup options with more effective alternatives. Now, this also kind of goes a little bit more into what I was saying is more of a solution, is when you change out like what like gimmicks the character or what next thing the character can have, like epiphanies or a new card. So these are basically like card replacements in a way, because that's the easier thing to change. And changing one card can astronomically change a character's effectiveness, right? Now, of course, with that, it says in particular, we are actively reviewing a build option that allows Yuki to transition into a single target build. This will not be available immediately, but we will do our best to deliver it as quickly as possible. Now, I will say, we also kind of seen the potential with Yuki, single target wise. It's there, right? Like it's definitely some potential there. I just think that she didn't have enough to really be able to like innately for you to really be able to like make that go crazy. But I'm like, I know there are people that have single target builds made in or mixed in with common cards. It's just that majority of her kit is requiring the inspiration. So it would be kind of crazy if they added inspiration, more of that, at least to her single target type of build, if you want to aim for that, because it would actually just make that deck a lot more seamless. And she would actually scale quite a bit, I would say, with being able to just draw a ton of single target cards if you're going and duplicating and epiphanying for that. And then on top of that, you would basically be able to see like I said, just a crazy shift in how much single target damage she could possibly do. I'm almost going to be willing to bet we could possibly be seeing her skyrocket a little bit. So, hey, I mean, that's also a big thing, is that they're willing to make some adjustments to these characters, even if it's not direct, it's still something, right? And it says we're also preparing upcoming content for the next update, such as the Great Rift and Codex, where Yuki will be able to demonstrate her strength. I think that's actually really huge. We will continue on working to create content environments where pickup characters can fully showcase their abilities. Lastly, although not included in this update, we would like to share some features planned for future updates. So you can also encounter dimensional tunnels during Codex gameplay. So I guess they're making this a normal feature. So in Codex gameplay, you will be able to encounter dimensional tunnels even after the season ends. If certain conditions are met, dimensional tunnels events will appear in Codex, allowing you to continue enjoying this content consistently. If you acquire a forbidden card, your save data will receive a season mark. So it's just kind of like referencing where that came from. So additionally, you obtain an agent in rescue who already completed ego manifestation. You will receive additional spectral cubes. Spectral cubes can be used to purchase combatant memory codes, partners, prisms, and more. Pros who have already acquired combatants beyond ego manifestation will receive spectral cubes via mail in a future update. Now, I'm assuming this is for maxed out characters. And so I think that that's definitely going to be huge, because that means that there's now a item that allows you to basically take advantage of getting or having to deal with the 50-50, where you're like, okay, I already have these units maxed out. What else can I get in exchange for that? So that's why this is also going to be really huge. And then, of course, they go to say, beyond the improvements discussed today, the update also includes a variety of new content. We plan to share those details at a later time, so please look forward to it. We'll continue communicating actively through developer notes, live streams, and other channels to listen to your valuable feedback. We aim to build Chaos Zero Nightmare together with our protos, offering a better gameplay and better service. So yeah, guys, I mean, to be honest, for me personally, I really think that this is like a really huge W on their part. I think that players overall are going to be satisfied, because I know I am. I think that this definitely makes a huge difference in the game. Like, I actually think that, like I said, this may be the best update notice that they've had so far, and I really am hoping that they just completely restructure themselves and push further and further away from the Hoyo structure. The more that they can do that, create your own identity, have your own individual game, your own sense, what you do for your community. Let it be something unique that really separates you and sets you apart, because you absolutely have to, especially in today's time with mobile gaming. So yeah, let me know what you guys think, man. I know this was a little bit longer, but like I said, I wanted to give you guys my overall thoughts with each part. And like I said, it is great changes that we're going to be seeing. I know there's still some things some people are going to complain about, but guys, we got to give them credit where it's due. They are really hacking at a lot of stuff, and I rarely have seen a lot of development teams even have this much stuff coming in updates, especially close updates where we know that all these things are happening. We're getting all these refunds. We're going to be getting all these future updates. Like, it's absolutely insane. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel for more of these segments. And of course, like I said, we got some podcasts coming, guys, that you do not want to miss. So that's going to be that with this one, guys. Everyone, stay blessed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.